It's central to biblical manhood. What does it mean to be a gentleman?
Right.
To be a gentle man.
Right.
Because you would think, like, wow, that's the opposite of masculinity. But in these three studies, we see that the person is not gentle to something that is very, very important that's going on. They just sort of blew right through it.
Hmm.
And that's where I think it's confusing about manhood. Like sometimes we think like it's just masculinity, but there's a component to masculinity that can just blow people out of the room, and we can value that. Like
Yes.
the stone cold killer who can take on 20 people at one time. Is that what it means to be a man? And I think that you brought up this point in the last uh, segment about this sort of frail person who was just like, hey, wait a second, you can't do that.
Right.
Sort of the opposite of that masculine stereotype.
Yeah. Yeah. And let me offer a nuance or challenge a little bit of what you're saying, because nice isn't necessarily right all the time.
Hmm.
So Romans 12:9 says, love must be sincere, hating what is evil, clinging to what is good. And so a bit of the pattern of Jesus is he dealt with sin decisively. So the woman at the well, people like to use that example and say, look how nice he was. But he actually pointed at the elephant in the room. He said, look, you've had 5 husbands, and the guy you have now isn't your husband. When he was dealing with Peter, when Peter is tempting him, he turns around and he points at his best friend and says, get behind me, Satan. So he dealt with sin with individuals. He dealt with sin in the church as well. He flipped tables.
Hmm.
It's so I recently challenged my congregation, and it's a challenge for me as well. I said, some of us need to be as honest as we are polite. Some of
Hmm.
us need to be as polite as we are honest. And some of us need to be working on both. That
Right.
there's this, I almost take if somebody tells me I'm nice, I'm almost offended.
Right. So gentleman or a real man doesn't mean nice. And if we look at Jesus, and Jesus is proclaimed as friend of sinners.
Yes.
Y- and this was brought up just recently to me that, well, he's friend of sinners, and so there's a lot of stuff in Leviticus, say for instance, that Jesus wouldn't do.
Mhm.
And I sort of brought up the point of the woman at the well. He wasn't saying like, "Hey, this woman is at the well. She's my friend."
Right.
He's saying, "Go away and sin no more." And sh he's her best friend.
The woman caught in adultery there. Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's speaking honesty into her life, and there is a nice component to that, a friendly component. He's saving her from being stoned, which the law in some way would require in some instance, I think. I mean, you're the pastor, that there's instances in Leviticus or Old Testament where adultery
A
is
capital crime.
is a capital crime.
Correct.
So it's a civil statute
Mhm.
that would happen, and Jesus acts against that, and is a friend to her that way, but also is taking a very gutsy, move that maybe even people in that time weren't willing to do. But
Right.
certainly in this time, hey, that's not nice. That's man,
Yeah.
don't say that.
Right.
That was Jesus.
Right.
So
So
being a gentleman is not nice.
right.
Sometimes, I mean, you can be nice.
But we have to define our terms then, right? And
Yeah.
define what's good. I mean, the Romans 12:9, love must be sincere, hating what is evil, clinging to what's good.